Hi, so I'm here to talk about essay structure. I've actually adapted this from a video from my friend Sandra Gardner. She's also an English professor. This is a guide to academic essay writing. So I wanted to give her credit because she greatly influenced this. Thought she did a great job, and I used some of her ideas. So let's take a look. So first thing you want to think about is where do writers begin? So there's strategies to do this. There's free writing, which just means you take a piece of paper or open a document on your computer and start typing all of your ideas, all of your answers to the question that you were asked for the prompt. There's outlining, which I asked actually required you to do for the first essay to follow that very strict outline. Both methods work and use the process that is best for you. Now, at first, I'm very strict with the outlining so you understand what is expected of a academic essay. But later, if I see that you have strong writing skills, you can do whatever method works best for you. So the typical 5 paragraph essay is a very useful tool. It's not required, again, if your writing skills are more advanced and you feel more in control of your writing and you feel that you are able to write an essay that says everything you want to say in a way that answers the prompt. It's not required, but it's a very useful tool. So I recommend using the 5 paragraph essay structure to get you started and introduced to how to write an essay. And then after you become a strong writer, you can bend the rules a little bit. So typically a 5 paragraph essay is an introduction, which we'll talk about, a body paragraph, and a body paragraph, and then a conclusion. So what does the introduction do? The introduction says hello to your reader. Okay, it contains a hook, a bridge, and a thesis. So yes, not only does it just say hello to your reader, but the hook is something to hook your reader. And we'll talk about that, talk about the bridge, and we'll talk about the thesis. So a hook can be a question, can be a surprising fact, it can be an anecdote, which means a little story. It can be a current event. It can be something with historical background. Um, Also, this goes with surprising statistic, just surprising fact, quotation, or a definition. Those are all acceptable and exciting hooks because they can make people want to read your paper. Remember, it's the very, very first line in your paper, and you want people to have an interest in your paper. Now, the bridge, we skipped the bridge. The bridge is background. You introduce your reader to your topic. You talk about what's happening now with the topic that you're going to discuss. And we've talked about thesis. You know this, but I'll read it anyway. Remember, strong thesis introduces the topic, states an opinion, shows the significance, and uses strong language. And of course, it has to have an argument. It has to make um, an opinion, which is an argument. When you talk about body paragraphs have a topic sentence, supporting evidence, and transition. So remember, go back to the outline that I have for you if you want a sentence by sentence example of body paragraphs. The topic sentences are like a mini thesis that introduces the main idea of the paragraph, but takes it back to the thesis statement. What is the supporting evidence? So in this case, your supporting evidence will be quotations from your readings. Now you've already done tips charts, so you already have this, right? You already have quotations ready to go. Okay. And also in your tips charts, you explained how or why the author is using this evidence to prove their point, right? So all this evidence may include these things: facts, statistics, examples, quotations, research, but in our case, it's going to be quotations from our readings for essay one. Analysis. Now, this is very important, and this is actually the problem for new readers. I'm sorry, new writers, readers in college. Don't forget that you need the analysis. Now, if you go back to the outline, it has one in a sentence of explanation and one sentence of analysis. Remember that analysis is where you show your critical thinking. Why is this important? What does it mean? And how does it support my argument, which is my thesis? How does it connect back to my argument? Don't forget transitions. Transitions connect ideas between paragraphs. Think of them as the chain that links the essay together. Transition words can be simple, just as also, furthermore. They can be conjunctive adverbs. However, consequently, nonetheless, moreover. And what they do is they just link the paragraphs together, the ideas together. The conclusion, it basically says goodbye to the reader, but it reinforces the thesis, it restates the main ideas, it reiterates why what you wrote is significant, and provides closure. Sometimes it's a recommendation or a call to action or a suggestion that what the next step should be with this topic, um, or a judgment call. So don't just summarize. Instead, answering your opening question. If you asked a question, finish your opening story or return to the opening idea. It's a really nice circle, right? So key ideas for all essays: make sure you have an argument. Make sure you include analysis. You can use descriptive language to help prove your point and define concepts thoughtfully and thoroughly. So final takeaway: a successful essay presents a clear argument, supports it with evidence, analyzes the evidence, and guides the reader from beginning to end. And again, I want to credit my co-worker and wonderful professor, Sandra Gardner, for helping guide me in this presentation. A lot of her ideas were included in here, so I want to make sure I give credit to her. Thank you very much, Sandra. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Okay, thank you very much. I just want to reiterate that the outline is a guide for you, and it does all those things a 5-paragraph essay should do. And the pitfalls are not enough analysis and making sure that your topic sentences aren't too complicated. A topic sentence should have one topic per paragraph. Okay, that's another thing that students do. They want to include all of their evidence in one paragraph. Break it up. Okay, I will also provide you some examples of some successful essays on this topic, which you can read. Okay, thank you very much. That's it. For your discussion question, I will write it for you. Okay, thank you.